Hello YouTube, welcome back to my channel. My name is Mary and I am so excited for you to be here with me today. If you want to see this full face, go ahead and check out my previous video using all Revlon products. Now, let's go ahead and wash this makeup off and put on a brand new face. Hello everybody, we are back for our next brand new face video. I am so excited to be doing this next brand new face with you guys. Now for this brand here, we don't quite have a full face. The brand hasn't quite come up with the full 15-ish products that we typically use. So it is probably going to be a little bit of a shorter video, but that is okay. The brand we have sitting in front of us today is BeBella. The first time I heard of them was when I placed my order for Beauty Creations, and when my order came in, the little card that came with it, on one side it had information about Beauty Creations and the other side it had some information about BeBella, which made me think that maybe they were either sister companies of each other or I don't know, somehow shared ownership. So that was very interesting to me. So that was the first time I heard of them. And then we've actually used one of the products that we have sitting here, which I will introduce when we get to that step. When I was doing my first products from the box, one of these products was also in there. So yeah, very excited to try out a couple of these other products. There's one particular product here that I keep eyeing that just the packaging on it looks really pretty. So I'm very excited to get to that step. But let's just get started. We have a total of 9 products sitting here in front of us. Now they don't have foundations or primer, so a lot of that we won't obviously be able to do. Also, we won't have mascara, or let me see if in one of these palettes, I don't believe we have like an official setting powder. In one of these face palettes here, they have like a lighter powder that maybe I'll decide to use. I'm not too sure, but they don't have like a setting powder. So other than that, let's just go ahead and get started in on the video here. We're going to start out with our eyes. They do have a concealer, and this is I think it is just their BeBella concealer, and the shade that I have is in the shade Light. So it comes in a little pot like this, and when you open it, you just access it that way. So we will need to use a brush or our fingers to apply it initially. I'm not always the biggest fan of these types of concealers, but who knows? Maybe it'll still be just fine of a concealer. I don't really know, I guess. So I'm going to go ahead and grab, this is the ColourPop E4 brush. It's kind of like a flat, slightly dense brush. I'm going to go ahead and try to pick up the product that way and initially apply it that way. I do have a dampened sponge here. It is the Beauty Creation sponge, so if I do want to blend it out that way, we will use that possibly as well. But let's just dip on in here. And being that we don't have a foundation, I'll probably do my entire concealer step here now and conceal the eyes to prep them for the eyeshadow, and then just kind of do some face concealing as well, just to get a little bit of coverage hopefully in the face here before we go into like our blushes and bronzer and highlight. And so far all I've done is blend this one out with the brush here, and it's honestly applying really nicely. The consistency of this is not too thick or heavy, so I'll probably still tap over it here with the sponge, but so far with the brush, I mean, it's, yeah, laying down really nice. Something I just realized is that I did not go through the About Us. So while I finish this step up here, Editing Mary is going to include that part while you see me apply that. It says here, inspired by the pro artist and the one who aspires to be one. BeBella Cosmetics is developed exclusively in-house by a talented team of creators. BeBella Cosmetics delivers products built with quality, keeping our furry friends in mind, but also understanding pigmentation requires some extra blinding. Okay, interesting phrase there at the end. Not too sure what they mean by that. The real story started with their CEO, founder Esmeralda Hernandez. At the age of 10, she worked very hard. It kind of goes into her growing up there, but it seems that at like a young age, she had quite the inspiration for creating. She dreamt of one day having her own cosmetics line. It was a challenge because of the amount of doors that closed on her, but she fought hard to make her dream a reality. Esmeralda is now creating products that make others feel confident, ready to create, cut creases, and inspire those who need the extra push. The vision behind BeBella Cosmetics was inspired by those who love to play with color, those ready to make someone feel beautiful, or the aspiring artist who needs the essentials. They are currently cruelty-free. It is a beauty brand created with passion by woman herself, Esmeralda Hernandez. So sounds like it's a continually growing brand. It seems that the CEO has a lot of passion to continue pushing and creating amazing products. I like the part in there where anybody who is aspiring to be a makeup artist or is a makeup artist, that these products would be good essentials for somebody like that. So I think that that is really, really nice. Alrighty, I've got that concealer applied. I primarily put it on the eyes here again as the base and then kind of concealed in the typical areas. And then I took a very thin amount of it just to kind of hit all over the face as well. And honestly, so far, I'm really shocked by it. The texture of it is really interesting. I just kind of thought that it would be a little too creamy in some ways, and it would just kind of sit odd on the face here, but it's got a very kind of matte, kind of powder feel to it, which I honestly really, really like. And it doesn't get really thick or anything. There is a touch amount of creasing going on here on the eyes from it, which isn't my favorite, but overall, just like as a general face base, it's not too bad. So far that's working out here pretty good. So next we will go into the eyeshadows. Now this is the product that I had in my first product from the box video, and it is the Shade of Roses eyeshadow palette. I used it in that video, and I think I've grabbed for it one other time since then as well. So not a whole lot of use out of it here yet, but I do know that those couple of times that I have reached for it, I very much have enjoyed it. So opening it up here for you guys, again, this is what it looks like. It's got this beautiful, I mean, a lot of glitter options, but there's this Mia Moore one right there, the gold one above XO. Oh my gosh, so pretty. Now, being that we don't have a mascara, I don't know how intense or how dramatic we'll go with it. Just trying to look at my other things here and look at my lip options to see what we want to do. Alrighty, so let's just go ahead and first start with this shade up here called Divine and use that in our crease and start building up this transition shade. So this first shade is laying down super duper nicely. I can't recall if I had used that one in the past here. I would have to think I would. It just kind of gravitates as a good old transition type shade. So I probably have used that one. Still don't know what direction I'm gonna go here yet, but I'm just kind of thinking of the upcoming products. I purchased very deep lip colors, and then also fair warning, took a look at the brow color and it is too dark. So I don't know if I'm just if I should just go down the dark road and make everything look very dark, kind of vampy. This is a very, in some ways, vampy palette with these like this dark purple, this red in here. I don't know. I'm just kind of like torn that I can't fully put it together with like a mascara, but that's okay. We're here to try the eyeshadows out and try the products out from the brand. It's not always about how the overall look comes out, I'm gonna say. Just because I'm worried that things aren't gonna tie together here very much, but that's okay. Anyways, let's go ahead now and deepen things up. I'm going to take the shade here called Pleasure, and just using that same brush. Oh, that's so pink. I'm gonna start just kind of by focusing this on the outer part. Oh boy, look at that pink. Whoa, I barely dipped in. Like one small dip for this side, one small dip for this side, and then have just kind of been going back and forth to try to like blend and like diffuse it out a little bit. This is very, very pigmented. Oh boy. I have no idea what it's gonna look like, but one of the shades here it looks like that I have not used yet is this more metallic shade here called Corazon, and it's this like dark metallic brown. I'm thinking I might put that all over the lid here and then come in and add a little bit more of this purple lust here, kind of as like a smoky liner thing. I don't know. Not sure what it's gonna look like, but I was curious about this color. So I'm gonna put that on the eyes here and see what I think of that. So one thing about these, or at least especially this pressed, like this metallic shade, they are so soft. When you push into it, your finger leaves quite the indent in the palette. And they, as you can see here as well, are very pigmented. I'm going to take a M213. This is a smaller brush. I like to use these ones for like making shadow liners sometimes. So I'm going to dip into that more deep purple lust shade here now and run this kind of all along the upper lash line area. Okay, so I've got that purple shade applied. At this point, I might just keep going with it because I know it's going to be pretty dramatic. I'm going to take on my finger here again that gold shade XO and just kind of apply that all over the lid and see what it looks like. So dipping into that, I mean, yeah, that's super soft as well. It's not as like creamy feeling as these other more metallic ones, but it is soft in there. So that's what it looks like here. Let's go ahead and dab this on the eyelid. They're very interesting shadows. I don't know how well all these colors are working together, but just I'm having so much fun putting them on my eyes here. They're so interesting. Okay, let's just set that down here for a little bit. I'm gonna go ahead and apply the eyeliner here now. The eyeliner is a pencil liner. It is their Eye Perfection pencil. And I just got the 01 shade black. Let me check their website to see if they have other colors. Looks like right now they just have the black, they have a dark brown, and it looks like they have a white as well. So it is just like a pencil that you would sharpen. I'm gonna go ahead and, we're gonna do a little bit of lining maybe on the top, and then I'll take a little bit down the lower waterline as well. Okay, I've got that eyeliner applied. Not sure how well you'll see it here on camera. I only really focused it kind of on the outer portions. I'm not one who uses a lot of pencil liners anymore, but from this one, it wasn't the easiest to apply. A little hard, a little scratchy, and it took a couple of attempts to get it to show up dark enough, I would say. But I do have that applied. I might go in, depending on what we do with the lower lash here in a little bit, add a little bit more, but just gonna leave it at that for now. And then hop back into the eyeshadows here. And I'm just going to take that small M213 Morphe brush, and then we're gonna dip into that deep purple shade again called Lust. Run that along the lower lash line, focusing that mostly on the outer part here, kind of where we just applied that eyeliner. And then let's kind of stick to that purple. I'm not going to clean off the brush here, but there is this other purple shade in here called ballerina right there. And again, just using that same brush, I'm going to apply that into the more inner half here of the lower lash line. Okay, and then grabbing our M433 brush, I'm just going to quickly wipe off what's on here, try to get some of that pink off. I know that some of it's still going to be on there. I'm going to dip back into that first shade that we used, that Divine shade, and just try to soften up the lower lash line here a little bit. Okay, and then I'm just gonna leave things there for now. This is definitely a pretty intense look. I don't know what to think of it here quite yet, but honestly, overall, the shadows work really, really nice. It's just, I think there's a specific theme, kind of that deep rose, vampy kind of vibe to this palette, which honestly, it's a lot of colors and things that I'm just not used to, but the colors, I mean, the pigmentations of all of the shadows on here, or in here, are very, very nice. It would be nice if we could complete things with a mascara, something nice and dramatic just to tie everything in, but we do not have a mascara, so this is where the eyes are gonna sit. Let's go ahead and let's just do the brows. Let's get that part done. Just to get it over with, I guess. Again, this is not a good shade for me, but this is their Eyebrow Perfection pencil, and the shade that I have is the BP2 Caramel. And so similar to the eyeliner, it is just a pencil that you would sharpen, and you can see here that this is a pretty brown, fairly dark brown shade it looks to be. And then on the other side here, it does come with a spoolie as well, which is really, really nice. I am just gonna take a look at their website for this as well. Just curious if maybe there is a lighter shade option. There is a B1 Taupe, which honestly that looks pretty dark as well. So B1 Taupe, and then this is B2 Caramel. They have 4 shades total. So taupe, caramel, medium brown, and dark brown. So we'll see. The taupe one on there looks pretty dark. The taupe one honestly looks darker than the caramel. Huh. Well, we'll find out here. I'm just gonna go ahead and apply this on the brows. Okay. So that brow pencil is applied. Honestly, it's not looking as deep and scary and as intense as I thought it was going to be, which is very, very nice. And I think mostly because it is a tough pencil. So I'll try to show you here in my hand. I've got a little bit on there from before, but like your first couple strokes, like nothing really is even coming out. You've got to push pretty hard just for it to even start. And then even then, like, it doesn't like stick. It kind of like, it's very pilly. It's like, feels kind of almost rubbery. It's a very interesting texture, so it was very tricky to even get any pigment to honestly even show up in the brows. So definitely a very odd consistency and texture for the pencil. We do have those applied. Again, I'm kind of happy that they're not looking as deep and as scary and dark and as tense as I thought they were going to be. So that's nice. Let's go ahead now and move into some of the face products. We are going to start with bronzer. And for the bronzer, we have the BeBella Cosmetics Snatch and Sculpt Color Quad. And I got their light option here. And so when you open it up here, it comes with a dark bronzer here, a lighter bronzer, and then it's got this right here, which at the beginning of the video I was saying there was some sort of like face powder, but I do think that this has too much luminosity to be like a setting powder. But then they have this very bright highlighter in here as well. So for bronzer, I think this is going to be a little too dark for us to use. So I'm probably just going to stick to this top one here called Burning Desire. If for some reason this is a little light, I might dip into here a little bit, but this will probably be the primary shade that we end up using for our bronzer. So I'm going to just use let's use one of these guys. I'm going to use the e.l.f. Ultimate Blending Brush here. Dip into that Burning Desire shade and start applying this. Okay, so far I've only gone in with that lightest one called Burning Desire. It's an interesting shade. It's kind of orangey. Not sure how well you'll be able to see it here. God, to me at least, it seems like a kind of an odd bronze shade color. So I am just using that same brush. Gonna try dipping into this deepest one here called OK Sis and try to deepen things up a little bit. That's a little better. Got that applied. That darker shade definitely is a little bit of a better option. It looks a little odd, especially with that more orangey color underneath, I think. But even so, I don't know just on its own how good of a bronzer option that it is for me. I don't know, it's just kind of interesting colors, I would say. But we do have it applied. Definitely on the softer side, I would say. Took a little bit to build just to be able to even see it. And then once as you do see it, you're like, oh boy, that's interesting. So yeah, don't know what to think of the bronzers here quite yet. The shades are just kind of throwing me off here, I think, but that is okay. Because we have this palette pulled out here, let's just go ahead and do the highlighter as well. I'm curious to just first swatch this one up here called Stunnin'. Ooh, that is loose. These are very, very powdery. I want to try, because I don't know what to think of that powder. I'm gonna use it like an inner corner highlighter. I'm gonna grab the ColourPop E20. It's similar to that Morphe one that we used. Just a smaller brush here. That is so powdery in there. Holy bananas. And I'm going to apply this in the inner corner of my eye. Yeah, that's kind of an odd powder. I don't know if it's supposed to be like a brightening powder or finishing powder. I don't think it's like an all over like setting powder, that's for sure. But I was curious how it would work in the inner corner of the eyes there. And I don't think it's really doing much, so I'm not even going to worry about that powder here. Super loose and super dusty. That was very interesting. So let's just go ahead and dip into this shade here called Queen. I'm going to let's take this guy, the Luna Magic brush. It's kind of like an angled fan brush. Dip on in there and apply this on the high points. Not sure how well this will pick up for you guys. It's definitely it's on the glittery side, and it's not, I don't know. I don't like the consistency of it. It's very odd. It's glittery, but also like you would think you'd still see a little bit of a pearl, and I'm not really seeing any pearliness or luminous from it. Really just all I'm seeing is little tiny specks of glitter on my face. So not loving that highlighter. So let's set this down. And next we will dive into the blush, and the blush that we have is the BeBella Cosmetics. It is their Blushing and Crushing palette here. And when we open it up here, it's got 4 blushes in here. This like deeper one down here called Puppy Love, and a more like coral orangey shade down here called I Like You, a more like mauve shade called Into You, and then a more pink rosy shade called My Lover. Let's go ahead and with the pinks that we've kind of got going on in the eyes here, I'm going to go ahead and start with this very pink shade, I think, called My Lover. I may end up dipping into a couple of the other ones as well, just to try them out, but I'm going to take the e.l.f. angled blush brush, dip on into that shade, and apply this on the cheeks. Alrighty, and I barely even dipped into the pan. This is very, very pink and very, very pigmented. Oh boy. Okay. So there is just the one shade here so far. I am going to try to maybe mute it down, I guess. I'm going to try out this Puppy Love shade here. Just using the same brush, dip on into that and see how that looks over top. Honestly, right now, it's hard for me to tell if they're mixing. It just looks very pink on the cheeks here. I'm gonna try to soften things down a bit with my blender. All right. There is the blush applied. Very, very pigmented, but I do honestly really like the colors that are in here. I like having palettes that have, like when I look at this, I see that I could get use out of all of these shades. So yeah, I think that's very, very nice here so far. Just very pigmented. So let's set that down here now and get into the lips. I'm very excited about the lips here. So we're getting to the end here. So we do have lip liner. So I have 2 lip liners and 2 lipsticks. Gonna try to choose. I might as well just go with the darkest options, I think. But the lip liners are called the Lip Perfection Pencil. And I got the shade 3-4 Natural and also a deeper shade called 2-4 Glam. And so again, just like the brows and just like the eyeliner, it is a wooden pencil that you would need to sharpen. This is the 3-4 Natural shade. And so it's just kind of a deeper nude shade. So I really like that. And honestly, that performed very well so far here on the back of my hand compared to how the brow pencil did. And this is the 24 Glam shade. This just looks to be a little bit more of like a rosy red shade. That guy right there. Honestly, not as deep as I thought it was going to be. I mean, still deep, but a little bit more on like the bright red than like a dark red that I thought. So let's go, I think I'm going to go with Natural. Yeah, I think I'm gonna go with Natural. So I'm gonna go ahead and line and fill in the lips with this guy. Alrighty, there is the liner applied. I did a partial fill with it. It's honestly a little scratchy on the lips here, and oftentimes when you put on a liner, you can kind of like mesh your lips together and move the liner around a little bit. This one does not move. So definitely feels to be pretty budge proof, I would say, but this is the Natural shade. I honestly do really like how that shade, like that deep shade color. I think that's really, really pretty. Other than it being kind of tough to apply on the lips here, and it feeling kind of dry at first, it's honestly laying on the lips here fairly well. So that's pretty nice. Let's go ahead and grab the lip product. I am so excited for this product. So I got their Luxe lipsticks, and so this is what their package looks like. This is beautiful. Like when I took this out of the box, I was, oh, that is so pretty. Even if, similar to when we did She Glam, like those packages are beautiful. So even if like this doesn't work out, which the She Glam ones did, but even if for some reason these didn't work out, I'm holding on to these just because this is stunning. And I hope that they do work out because I want more of these. This is so pretty. So I got 2 shades. I have the shade here, My Type. You open it like this. This is this kind of to match like the neutral one here is what I was intending when ordering. So a deep kind of neutral brown shade it looks like. And the other one is called Late Notice. And this is like a deep, deep dark kind of berry color. And I kind of want to go with this one. Yeah. So we're going to apply this on the lips. Okay, there is that lip shade applied. Honestly, the color is beautiful. However, it was not a very great formula. When it came to applying it, it was not very buttery or creamy. It was very kind of similar to like the brow product, just kind of felt rubbery and like tough to apply. I'll try to swatch it here on the back of my hand, but like, I mean, that looks okay, but it's kind of tough. It doesn't feel very creamy when going on. So it took a couple of attempts kind of going back and forth to really get the product on the lips, and that made it very tricky, very messy. I had to try to clean up around the edges, which that happens a lot when wearing a lot of deep colors anyways. They just tend to be a little bit messier when it comes to the application, but this one didn't make it very easy. It definitely just has a very rough consistency to it, I would say. But I mean, the color is really pretty, just a little tricky to apply. So that is the lips here. Then we are on to the last product now, and that is going to be the BeBella Golden Hour Mist. It is their setting spray. Let me pull it up here to see what this is intended to do. So it doesn't specify anything here specific on the website. It just says you can spray it on during your makeup application or after. Gives you that fresh looking skin we all love. So just a fresh look. I don't know if that means good, like not too dewy. Maybe just a good natural look. So let's go ahead and give this a mister test. Has a pretty decent mister on it. It might have, might leave little droplets on the face here. From looking at it at the back of my hand, I was a little worried that maybe there was some glitter in there. That might just be on the back of my hand. But it possibly might provide a little bit of a more dewy look, I think. So let's just go ahead and spray this on the face. Okay. Yep, it is leaving some droplets, so I'm just gonna grab the sponge here real quick. And we will grab our fan. All right, there is the setting spray applied. Yeah, I think it leans a little bit on the more dewy side, but dries down really quick. A couple little droplets that we had to kind of clean up a little bit, but nothing too bad. But again, yeah, dried down really, really quick, really, really nicely. So I do like that. And that is going to be all of the products. Let me know what you think of this sort of look. Again, whenever there's no mascara, it always just looks a little odd. And these are definitely not colors that I use very often. So it's not my favorite look, but let me know what you guys think down below of the look. And we will get set up here to talk about the products individually. All right, we are all set up here to talk about the products individually. Again, here is what our makeup is looking like. Overall, not my favorite, but that is okay. We were here to try out the products and see how they perform. Mostly, it's just not colors that I'm very used to, especially the eyeshadow palette. There's just a lot of colors in there that I don't use on a regular basis, I would say. But let's just go ahead and figure out how much this full face cost us. And actually, this brand, it's not a full 15 products, but currently with the amount of products that they do have and that we purchased for this video, they are under $100. This full face cost us $62.95. So it's always really fun and exciting for these videos to come together and for them to be under $100, so I do really like seeing that. I will say though, however, just with the products that we have here, it is a little wishy-washy. There are definitely products sitting in front of me here that I know I won't be hanging on to, but there are also products here that I am very excited to have in my collection as well. So let's go ahead and get into that part now and talk about the products individually. So first off, we started with the concealer, this guy right here, and honestly, I was very surprised by this. I wasn't expecting to like it, just based off my previous experience from concealers like these. I've just never been a huge fan, but honestly, I did really like the formula of this. It did crease up on the eyes a little bit, so I don't know how good of a eye base it would be. But the texture was just really nice, and I ended up using it all over the face. Obviously, we don't look very full coverage because we didn't have a foundation or anything, but it did an okay job with evening out and covering up some of the blemishes and stuff that I do have on my face. So I honestly really like this. So the concealer is a yes. And then we dived into the eyeshadow palette. Again, this was the one that I had already had from a previous video that we did together from the products from the box. And I enjoyed it then, and I enjoyed it again here now. Again, this wasn't my favorite look that we created with it, but I love the colors in here, and I love the pigment of the shadows as well. It is very interesting because a lot of the shadows are very soft pressed. You might even be able to see there a little bit. This was my first time dipping into that gold. It's so soft that it creates such an indentation when you dip your finger in there. Just a very, very interesting consistency, but I do really like the pigment and the outcome that way. I will just need to work with this color story a little bit more to see if I can come up with a look that is a little more fitting for me, but I'm going to say yes again here because I do really like the pigment and the performance of the shadows. So yes to this guy. And then we hopped into the eyeliner, their Eye Perfection pencil. I am going to say no to this guy. I'm not a huge fan when it comes to just like regular pencils. I don't use a lot of them anymore, but when I do, I like it to be very smooth and pigment right away. This one was just a little dry and a little tricky to work with. So it did not apply as easily as I would have liked it to. So I am going to say no to the eyeliner pencil. And then next we hopped into our brows. This is their Eyebrow Perfection pencil. And I'm also going to say no to this guy as well. It ended up not being as scary of a situation on the eyebrows that I thought it was going to be. But at the same time, it just did not glide on very nicely either. So it took some time to even get some of that pigment to really even show up on the brows. So it definitely was a struggle when it came to applying it. So this guy is going to be a no. And then we did the bronzer and the highlighter. So the Snatch and Sculpt Color Quad palette, this guy right here. And this is also going to be a no. I tried testing out this shade here. Just very interesting. It's a very soft set powder, and I'm not really sure what it's supposed to be intended for. And it doesn't really say on here. So I wouldn't ever get any use out of that. And then when it comes to the bronzers, they were also just not shades that I quite gravitated towards. This light one was very orangey, so that threw me off for sure. And then again, just this brown, it's not a shade that I would reach for very often. And the highlighter didn't really impress me either. It was just kind of glittery, and even with that, barely noticeable on the cheeks. So this guy is going to be a no. And then next we did our blush. So we used that Blushing and Crushing palette here. This guy's a yes. I am actually very excited for this. These are definitely colors that I gravitate towards. That first one that we used, very pigmented for sure, but it did perform very, very well, and I'm excited to try out the other colors here in the palette. So this guy is a yes. And next we went into the lips. The lip liners, I'm gonna say yes for now. They're definitely a little trickier when it comes to the application. They're not very smooth. These pencils all kind of have that similar vibe where they're just a little tough when it comes to the application. But in comparison to the other ones, these ones did apply a lot quicker. They seem pretty darn budge proof, which is something that I do think I would like about them. They seem to stay in place super duper well. So I'm gonna say yes for now, just to see where they sit in my collection, see how often I reach for them. Because I do like the shades that I picked up, and I do like how budge proof they felt. And even after them being kind of rough to apply, the lips don't feel uncomfortable, which is very nice. So yes for now. And then the lipstick. I wasn't thrilled by the performance of the lip product. Definitely was a very tough lipstick to apply. So really, I'm saying no. But honestly, I'm not getting rid of this because this package is amazing. This package is beautiful. So I am hanging on to both of these. I'll have to try out the formula of the other one. I think it was the My Type. Yeah, My Type is the other one that we did not use. So I'll have to see if for some reason the formula is different based off the shade or whatever. But even if I don't use these are going on display because this is beautiful. So no, but you'll maybe still see them in the background at some point because that's very pretty. And then the last product is the setting spray. And this guy is going to be a yes as well. It provided just a little bit of a dew to the face. It honestly, looking at the bottle and reading their golden hour mist, it doesn't come off to me as that. Like, it does provide a little bit of that shine, and I think that I get what they're coming from with the golden hour, but I kind of thought it would come off a little more glowy, goldeny, and I didn't really get that. And then also for some reason I expected it to have some sort of scent, like a coconut or tropical kind of scent to it, and there's really no scent to it at all, which is honestly nice. So it wasn't what I expected, but I did still very much enjoy it. I feel that it set the makeup down here very nicely, providing just a little bit of that dewiness to the skin. So this guy is a yes. And so yeah, that is all the products. We ended up getting rid of 3 products. Well, we're getting rid of, you know what I mean. We're getting rid of 3. We're not probably not going to use these, but there were 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 that were yeses at this time. So yeah, very excited to have a couple new products in my collection. Very excited for the blushes, very excited for that setting powder and that concealer. Very excited for that concealer. So happy to have a couple more products to cycle through and use here as well. And that is going to be everything. If you guys enjoyed the video, feel free to give it a big thumbs up. I would greatly, greatly appreciate it. And if you want to be notified of the next time that I post, feel free to hit that subscribe button and that notification bell so you can be notified. And if there are any BeBella cosmetic products that you did not see me put to the test here today, feel free to leave it in the comments down below, and I would love to try and get my hands on it and test it out in a future video for you. Next, if you have any brand recommendations, feel free to leave that in the comments down below as well, and I would love to add it to the list of so many brands. And that's going to be everything for this video. I hope you guys have an amazing day, and I will see you in my next video. Bye-bye!